This is Angela Barrios here. This video is sponsored by angelabarrios.com. You may find the link in the description below. Click like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notifications of new videos we load. I'll be watching for your comments, so hit like and share.
Thank you so much for being here with me. And this is Angela Barrios, your financial coach. And today, as we have announced several times, we are bringing a very interesting subject. Yeah, one of those that you really, really like to know about. And that is 3 accounts that will make you rich. And I know, because many people ask, which accounts, and they were speculating about which accounts could that be. And the first thing that I got to do is a full disclaimer. So bear with me, and while we wait for some people to join, I am going to set some things up, and I definitely apologize because I have had several technical difficulties to say. I love my technology, but sometimes there's just certain things that don't work, and it's fine. It's all okay. So while we wait for some folks to join, I am getting to add some things to my presentation of tonight, just because, as you know, this stays right at my channel on YouTube, and you can always go back there as your archive, and you can check the information one more time. Hi, Pastor Joe, and thank you for being here with us, and practice English as well, and just to listen for a little while. So if you guys have any question towards all the information that we are going to share, I will appreciate you to put that right on the comments. I'll try to answer as quick as I can. Or if you go to my YouTube channel, you can always visit that and just leave the questions or the comments you want, or if you intending to actually ask any questions, you can email me right at info@angelabarrios.com. Now, through DMs, you can always leave questions, and they will be highly appreciated. So let me start up with this important subject. And like I mentioned, this is 3 accounts that will make you rich. And I know, like, a lot of people speculated, 3 accounts, and how am I going to end up rich? And I know it sounds like a lot of material thing to kind of like swallow, but I want you to bear with me, because what you're going to learn today, super important. What you're going to learn today is how important it is to understand how to set up some accounts. Let's just say accounts. Let's talk about like the money that matters on this essential world, and why are they so important. So if you take, like always, pen and paper, and write some information there so you don't forget. So first of all, this is about preparing for true financial independence. And so we have to establish for sure what is financial independence. So it's not the same just for everybody. Financial independence might mean for one individual or family just to, have a place to live and a good income, just to have a good, nice, month, and then have things paid off. For other people, financial independence sounds like a lot of money coming in. It sounds like, a lot of wealth, a lot of properties. So that financial independence definition by itself, you have to come to actually a peace to define what it is for you and for your family, or for your significant other, spouse, or whatnot, and write it down, and then say, okay, so how are we going to get there? Because evidently And if you're just watching here and learning something here with me, it's because you are seeking for financial independence. So financial independence is going to be established once you know where you are standing as far as your income, your expenses, meaning your finances in general. So at other encounters, we've talked about different things. I think the first one we brought about was debt and how to eliminate debt. And I said I was going to bring a little more later on. And now at this time, I'm going to touch a little more into what it is to build wealth. Now, wealth, when it comes up to most people's mind, people think it's like money or material stuff. But wealth can also be defined as your health, right? Physically, your emotions, how stable they are, spiritually, how you live your life to that point. So that is really wealth for me. So besides the fact that you establish your financial independence definition and how does that look like in paper, it's important for you to define what wealth means to you. But today, I want to share with you wealth from the financing or finances perspective. So let's prepare for true financial independence. So one thing that I want to open up with is how do you feel about that current situation you have? How do you feel? How do you feel about that? Are you insecure? Are you super excited? I'm going, what I'm doing is great. I've been putting my things together. I know where I'm heading. I'm clueless. Angela, I have no idea whatsoever. I just live life. It comes, it kind of like, it hits me. And I just try to survive. I'm like, kind of like that. So are you one of those? I'm not sure. How do you feel about it? Like really, really think about it. How do you feel about your financial situation? So I'm going to give you some statistics. And again, bear with me. And in future videos, I'm going to bring you international, more globalistic statistics. Okay. But as a certified financial coach and being in the arena for 2 decades, I have to, and being located in the United States of America, I have to pull up something that's more common here locally. So I promise to you, I'm going to bring some more information. And if you want to specifically get more information about the place in which you are located, just send me a DM or email me, or just get in contact with me via my website. It's all on my business card presentation on Instagram, and I will make sure that I give you more detail about that. So here we go. And for those that are like getting right now in this video, if you have any comments, you have any questions, just go ahead and post them. So how do you feel about your current financial situation? And here's one thing. Let me tell you that 40%, write this down, 40% of people that work and make money on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, regular people that work, or the spouse have less than $25,000 in total savings. $25,000 in total savings. You know what that is? That is a true factor for a situation like, I don't want to say the name, but situation like the one we started going last year in 2020, in which everything was slowed down. $25,000, you know what that means? In an economy like the United States of America, means like you might be broke super soon. So that is just a very, very small amount on total investment for a family. $25,000 just doesn't help you through. Maybe 2-3 months for some, maybe just 2 months for some. So it's amazing that when it comes up to that, it means that maybe sometimes 19% have less. 19% of population, 19% of those that save have $1,000 in savings. So when it comes up to savings, it's like not enough. They're just not enough. And let me give you another factor here. Less than half of workers, meaning 42%, almost 50, I just said 42%, 42, report that they or their spouse have not tried to calculate how much money they need to have saved so they can retire comfortably, meaning that they don't know. Is the spouse, the husband looks at the wife, they look at each other, and they're working and they're bringing money home and they're spending their money, but guess what? They have no clue how much they need. So when they retire, they don't have to continue working. So that right there, very alarming. It's a fact that I extracted out of the Employee Benefit Research Institute. It was a survey. It was a survey in 2019. We are not too far behind. So all the factors that I'm going to give you, only 23% of workers that were surveyed say that they were very confident, not super confident, but very confident, 23%, very confident about having enough money to retire comfortable. So when people tell you comfortable, it sounds like frugal. It sounds like, you're going to retire. You don't have to work. You're okay. You don't have no debts. Your house is paid off. And you can pay for medicine or anything else that might show, as long as it's not a huge ticket item. So I just gave you 3 things that make people very, very scary. Not enough savings. Definitely no clue about future retirement, and just a very small portion of the population really have some money saved or say they have some money saved. So how do you feel right now? How do you feel about your finances? When you look at your situation, do you own a house? Is that mortgage paid off? Are you halfway? Are you just starting up? What's your situation? Do you have a lot of credit card debt? Like we talked about, if you want to know more, you can go ahead and refer on my IGTV. There's videos about that, or you can go to my website and check on that, or my YouTube channel. Is it debt the one that's like killing you, that doesn't let you sleep? I mean, what is your financial situation? So now, let's move ahead on these 3 accounts, because I know that you are here because you want to know where are those 3 accounts. And believe me, they're so simple that you are going to be so content with yourself that probably this information you already knew, but you just needed a refreshment just to start all over again. So let's talk about phases. When we talk about phases as far as getting wealthy, phases as far as setting yourself up, there are 3 phases that you have to take in consideration. Number 1 phase is the phase of accumulation, meaning that you are 18. Depending on the country, majority of people start working at 18. However, I started working at 14. How about you? 18 to 55. That is a good period of accumulation, meaning you got out of high school and you started working. So you go to this stage in which you're working, producing, making money, paying, buying, acquiring, all those kinds of things. Maybe putting family together, you get married, you have children, etc., etc. You buy a house, you buy a car, you get in debt, you get broke, things like that. That's the phase. That's the first phase. So this phase of accumulation between the age 18 and 55 is the time in which you're supposed to save for retirement. Oh, Angela, I'm 45. Great. Are you saving for retirement? No, not yet. Okay, you better start right now. Angela, I just got out of college. I'm 23. but I don't have a job. But as soon as I get a job, I want to start saving some money for the future. How do I do it? Fantastic. Now you're taking advantage of time. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit to show you how important the time and the age is a factor on these 3 valuable accounts that make you rich. So for those that are joining, thank you so much. The subject today is the 3 accounts that will make you rich. The 3 accounts that will pave your way to financial independence. The 3 accounts that make the change so you can truly, truly, truly be free financially. So 3 phases that I mentioned. Number 1, accumulation. And that accumulation happens between age 18 and age 55. So start thinking how old you are right now at this time, because the numbers I'm going to give you, if you have pen and paper, you are going to need so you can calculate yourself. Nothing crazy, something very, very simple. So this accumulation phase supposed to be for what? Exactly. Saving for retirement. Saving so you can one day stop working and have some income coming without you having to produce it yourself. Now, there is a second phase as far as this wealth, and that is the protection. And so this protection comes from age 55 to 65. It's like 10 years in which you have to make sure that whatever you have accumulated, in which you have to make sure that whatever you put together during the accumulation phase, you are now protecting. It's kind of like, okay, so now I'm set. Let me protect what I have. Let me stretch it out a little more so I can then get to my last phase of this process, which is the distribution of what you have saved. So most of all of us, depending on how we grew, depending on what we learned in the country we were raised at, the culture, we learn certain things as far as like getting to 18, get a job, and start working, which is great. And we really didn't learn much about what it is, the importance of turning 18, or in its defect 23 here in the United States, and start really producing and making money. Why do you produce and make money? So that is a question that you have to ask. But the reality is, because we know we grow older, you have to think ahead and you have to propose something for your wealth, your richness, your financial independence, which is an accumulation. And when you work, you have to save some money. So that should be actually the most important teaching that we should be giving to our children, that they gotta save money. So just to recap, 3 phases. Phase number 1 is the accumulation. Phase number 2 is your phase of protection of whatever you have accumulated. And phase number 3 is the distribution of the wealth, which is kind of like 65 and plus, 65 and older. Okay, so I have what I have, and let me just start enjoying my life. Now, let me tell you, for 5% of the population here in the United States, they don't have to wait to age 65 to do that. 5%, which is what the actual percentage of population, and globally, it's around the same, 4 to 5% of people that they don't have to wait for 65 to retire. They could retire because they already have the money. It doesn't matter what age they have. So that is a small percentage, and they have some value information that sometimes you don't have. So it is my purpose in these kinds of encounters, in these kinds of meetings we have, in these videos that I'm leaving here, and that you learn this and that you apply this information so you can make a change. For what? For what I always say every single video. So I can bring an impact to your world, and you can actually make a difference in this new decade we are living in, especially 2021, okay? Year 2021. So Have you heard about the rule of 72? It applies anywhere in this world. It doesn't matter where, whether you are in America, whether you are in South America, Central America, the Caribbean, Europe, any place, it applies the same. The rule of 72 is a simple, and if you're writing this down, remember this, the rule of 72 is a simple way to determine how long the money that you save or invest will take to double. In other words, how long $1 will become $2, how $2 become $4. So that is the rule, given a fixed interest. So in whatever country you are, if you are able to save on a CD, certificate of deposit, and the certificate of deposit pays you 5%, the only thing you have to do is take number 72 divided by the percentage, by 5, and that will give you the amount of years that the money will take to double. And that is just a simple rule. That rule is very well known in finances, not just by everybody, believe me, but by those that are interested in understanding how the money grows. And that's what I'm doing here. So with this, and because I'm a certified financial coach, and because of my positions and my licenses, it is now my time to give a disclaimer, like I mentioned at the beginning. And my disclaimer is that I am here not really recommending anything for you, but teaching and educating you, which is my purpose today with this video. Any recommendations that you need me to do because of my licenses in investment area, you can reach directly to me and I will properly address that with you. You can do that via my website. You can do that here on Instagram or through my YouTube channel. There's different ways, Facebook and all, in which you can reach out to me. So let's talk about again of that rule of 72. Do this with your pen. Do this with your pen and paper. If you take the rule of 72, so write 72, and divide that by 4%, that let's just say a regular financial institution like your bank will pay you on a certificate of deposit, a CD. If you divide 72 by 4, it's going to give you 18 years. In other words, if you take $1,000 and you put that in a certificate of deposit, and that certificate of deposit pays you 4%, the rule of 72 says that it's going to take 18 years for the $1,000 to become $2,000. So now, depending on your objective, horizon, your goal that you have, you might need a little bit more money than $2,000 in order to retire, or in order to buy a house, or in order to send your kids to college. So those are objectives. We'll talk about it later. Let's give you another example. So take the number 72 and divide that by 6%. So if you do that, a small equation is going to give you a result of 12 years. So you take $1,000, let's say you put it in a more sophisticated investment vehicle that pays you 6%. And now the $1,000 at 6% rate of return is going to double in 12 years. So now it doesn't take 18 years to double, it takes 12 years. Why? Because the interest is just a little higher. The same thing if you take 72 divided by 12%, which is a very good rate around. The market gives you, and you can Google that, gives you that and more. But let's just say you take the rule of 72 divided by 12 at a great mutual fund. And the rule tells you that it takes 6 years for the money to double. So with the same example, you take $1,000, and those $1,000 are going to take 6 years to become $2,000. So that's actually a better deal, right? So with this, I'm telling you that the higher the percentage, the better it is for you, because your money is going to double faster. It's not the same to save at 3% than saving your money or investing your money at a higher percentage. So have that in mind. Have that in mind, because I just gave you 2 keys. Key number 1 is the age at which you start saving money. Key number 2 is the percentage that you can reach when you put money away. So 2 factors right there. Now, moving on. A brief example, you're going to write this down if you're taking notes. A brief example of that Rule 72 is just a demonstration, okay? If you want to get the actual visuals of this, you can go to my YouTube channel, or you can also reach out to this material through my website. And if you want a specific information directly and customized, meaning tailored for you, the only thing you have to do is reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you get that information. So the Rule of 72 demonstration, let's just demonstrate what that means. Take $10,000 at 4%, and it's gonna take 36 years, which is 36 years is kind of like the amount of years that you work for a lifetime, for that period, the phase of accumulation I was talking to you about at the beginning. So 36 years after, the $10,000 that you put in that certificate of deposit, let's just say, are gonna become $40,000. Now the question is, what can you do with $40,000 36 years later? Now, if we take the same 10,000 and we save it in a 6%, kind of like account, 36 years later, they're gonna become $80,000. This is for the purpose of illustrating the Rule of 72. Okay, so that's another disclaimer I'm doing. And if we take $10,000 and we save that money on a wonderful, let's just say, mutual fund. I love mutual funds. This is one of my favorite things. But you save it on a mutual fund at a 12% return. And if you don't put any more money in, but you just leave the $10,000, just as you did in the other 2 examples, 36 years later, you're going to have $640,000 just for the illustration here alone. So what would you rather have? $40,000, $80,000, or $640,000? So right there, I just demonstrate to you with a few words what it is to accumulate depending on the amount of money also, and the percentage that you are reaching when you open that account so you can save money. So for those that are with me today, right now, I thank you very, very much. If you have a question and you want to post it there or any comment, feel free to do so. If you want to ask me anything directly, you can DM me or just reach out to me. All my information is on my Instagram account, business card presentation. So this is very important, you guys. When we talked about the three accounts that are going to make you rich, I'm getting in there. I'm getting in there very, very soon. Just bear with me. So there are investment possibilities. When you think about putting money away or investing money, you have to just get a little bit more educated about it so you can make informed decisions about what you need. So when it comes up to about investment possibilities in general, this is what I want you to take in consideration. First of all, there are general investments. What do you mean, Angela? Well, general investments like mutual funds, which I mentioned several times. And if you hear me just saying mutual funds, I'm not here to sell a thing. I am just here to share experiences. So based on 20 years of experience, I love mutual funds because of the compound effect on it. And we'll talk about the compound effect at another video, okay? But I love mutual funds. they're great vehicles to invest or to put money away. Annuities, which is another vehicle, it's kind of like acquiring an individual pension plan. It's not a pension plan, it's an annuity, but it's kind of like a system in which you just put some money away, right? You purchase an annuity, and then that money is going to pay you on a monthly basis a certain amount based on that contract that you acquire. And there's managed investments, which is great way to have a manager managing your objectives, right? So for this, of course, you need a professional licensed in your state or in the place that you live that can help you understand how this works. Now, those are general investments, meaning that you can use those kinds of vehicles to save money. Another kind of possibility when you put money away is IRAs in the like a traditional and Roth individual retirement accounts. They are called IRAs because of the way that they are signifying. And this is just to tell you that if you work for yourself, it doesn't mean that you cannot save money for retirement. If you work for yourself, you can actually reach out to an IRA, individual retirement account, whether it is traditional, meaning that you don't pay taxes now, but you pay taxes when you take the money out, or whether it is a Roth kind of IRA in which you pay taxes now, but by the time you retire, you don't have to pay any taxes. That's just kind of like the sense of it. You also have a way to save money in a 403B kind of plan. Very common in 403B7 kind of plans, very common for like firefighters, people that work for the municipalities, for the cities, people that work for the government, things like that. It's just names for vehicles that allow you to save money towards their retirement. Why I'm talking so much about retirement? Because it's a great ticket item. Because it requires a phase of accumulation. And if you're watching me today, it's because you're looking to accumulate some money so you can get to the wealthy stage. And also you have college saving plans. That is another way to save money for your children. Those accounts are regularly tax-deferred accounts, okay? So I am not here, that's another disclaimer, I am not here speaking about taxes. It is not my duty to educate you on taxes because I am not a tax expert, but based on 20 years of serving people, I can tell you that it is important to also be acquainted with how taxes work when you accumulate money, okay? It's part of the wealth, it's part of the wealth creation. So there's another way, another kind of like investment vehicle you have to consider, and those are retiring plans or retirement plans for businesses. Why? Because maybe you're a business owner of a small business, you have 15 employees, 12 employees, 3 employees, and then you say, well, I need a way to save money. Well, depending on the size of your business, depending on how many people you employed in your business, you might need a 401k plan. You might need a 457 plan or a SEP, SEP plan, or a simple plan, just that way. Maybe you need a payroll deduction plan for your employees directly. So there are systems created in the United States of America per se, in which you can actually take advantage just to bring income in and put the income in vehicles in which you can save money taxes fair, so you can, have more wealth at the end of your work to save. So with that, I'm going to share one more thing. This is what I want you to do. If you're taking note, this is what I want you to consider when you're seeking to invest your money to accumulate for wealth. And again, if you're here with me, we're talking about the 3 main or major or most important kinds of accounts. I'm getting there. I have you here. I'm explaining all this because there is a reason that make you rich, that if you start with them, you're going to see a great difference towards building wealth and becoming financially independent. So when seeking to put money away, when seeking to save money, you guys, I want you to consider these things. And I am just roughly going through them because getting in depth on this means that I'm going to have to make a little bit more videos and explain to you what each mean. But I want you to seek for these kinds of things. First of all, dividends. And what is a dividend? Capital gains on your investments, capital appreciation, and all that. I will give it to you in a video that it's coming up that you're going to have available also on my YouTube and here at IGTV. I want you to look for systematic investment option. What does that mean? Simple. Systematic means system, right? So that every month automatically, with your eyes closed, you're not even looking, the money is coming out of your account, $100 a month, $50 a month, $300 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you can put every single month that you don't have to even count on is out of your account before you even reach your ATM card. The money is being invested systematically. You don't look at it, automatic, it's out. So you don't count on it, which is one step very, very important. I'm going to give you later on. I want you to be very clear on your objectives. What it means is, are you saving for your kids' college? Are you saving for retirement? Are you saving to buy a house? Are you saving because you already have a house but you want a second house? Are you saving because whatever the objective is? If you are planning on accumulating something, that's called savings or investments, and it is important for you to clarify what is the objective. It is not the same to save for a house that it is to save for retirement or simply send the kids to college. Educate yourself. The more power to you, the more knowledge you can get. Educate yourself. It only takes 10-15 minutes every day to kind of like go look for some information. There are tons of ways to educate yourself. Speak to a professional. If not me, somebody else, but speak to a professional. I am here to help you. If you need to reach out to me, you have the ways already on how. DM me, send me an email, reach out to me through my YouTube channel, etc. Here via Instagram, Facebook. Speak to a professional. Don't be afraid of asking questions. You don't have to know. That's why we are professionals. So we can help you make decisions, so we can bring the education you need. Now, professional money management is an important factor. It's not the same to put the money under the mattress or keep the money safe inside a wall or inside the shoes. I've seen that. Or put the money away at your bank with no interest at a savings account, or put the money away with a professional money management system. Diversification of assets is huge, which means is like you don't put all the eggs in one basket. It's like you don't go buying stocks at the market and then the market crashes and then you lose all your money. You gotta be diversified in many different ways. I'm not just talking about investing on the market or saving money. Diversify in different ways. If you want to learn more about this, a new video is coming on these kinds of subjects. Growth potential. When you put money away, what's the potential to grow? Is it something I have to wait? Is it what the money's invested on what kind of companies? Are those big companies, small companies, new companies, old companies? Oh, that is so important. It's not complicated. You just need a little bit of information. Affordability. What do you mean, Angela? Well, when you invest, whether it is professionally or through your 401k or through an IRA, you might pay some fees. because somebody is having to put all this together. So you have to ask the question. Some fees are charged at the beginning, up front, what we call class A kind of shares on investments, or some fees are charged at the end. And that they both work. It all depends on what you need. Liquidity. What do you mean? Well, how fast you can retrieve the money in case you need it. It's not the same to save for, let's just say, an emergency, in which you just gotta save money in case your car breaks down, or somebody has a medical situation, or you gotta move to a different place. Whatever that is, that's liquidity. How fast you can get the money right in your hand, or if you just could wait. So that's an important factor. Think about taxes. If you're in a place like the United States of America, taxes are a very important factor when you put or save money, invest money, anything that has to do with this and your income. You don't need to be a tax expert, but you do have to have somebody that can help you understand. Whether it is tax, that is tax over what you make, meaning your income, or whatever you earn from your investments, even from your savings, a small little interest that sometimes the bank, if there is one, that pays you interest, is still left. Or if it's the money that grows tax deferred, because when you put money towards retirement and the government is not taxing you because the money is just growing, that's also another important thing to take in consideration. So these are just things I want you to seek for. And I'm glad you can kind of like come and visit this video, because if you cannot remember and you didn't really take a note of it, you can come visit the video and just grab the note. There are more things to seek for, but that's really depending on you, your needs, your family needs, and what you're looking for. So if you want more tailored kind of information, I'll be glad to serve you. Now, let's talk about rules. And with this, I'm getting to the end, okay? Rules, so we can get to those 3 accounts that you're gonna have on your side. Rule number 1, you gotta pay yourself. How is that, Angela? You gotta pay yourself first, meaning you are the most important person here. You're not narcissistic, you're not egocentric, you're just putting yourself first, because it's kind of like when you are traveling on a plane. The first thing that they tell you at the beginning is what? You gotta put the mask on, the oxygen on you first before you helping somebody else. Happens the same thing here when it comes up to money, finances, and getting rich and becoming wealthy. You have to start by paying yourself. No other way. So number 1 thing within this rule, you put yourself at the head of the line. Rule of thumb, you save 10%. Some experts will tell you 12, even 18%. But let's just start by 10%. And if you cannot save 10%, I'll give you another way to do it. But 10%, you gotta start by something. 10% of your income gotta be put away. Treat it as a bill, meaning treat it as something you owe. In other words, you owe yourself. Angela gotta pay Angela first. Like you pay your rent, like you pay your house, like you pay your car, like you pay your bills, your credit card. Pay yourself first. But I have a lot of debt. Okay, so in another video, I will explain to you how to get that done. But for now, have that in consideration. You gotta treat yourself like if you are a bill and you have to pay yourself. You owe yourself 10% because you are the person that your family is depending on. The number 2 thing within this rule, number 2 most important thing within this rule of paying yourself first, is you gotta set up a complete saving program. And with this, I'm getting to those 3 main accounts. You gotta set up a complete savings program for you. Account number 1. So write this down. Right now, everything's gotta be like flashing for you. because I gave you a lot of information. You can always visit this video, but account number 1, write it down, emergency fund. Just ask yourself, how many people do you know that have an emergency fund? And maybe the answer, I'm gonna leave it blank, but maybe the answer is, well, Angela, I don't have an emergency fund. So you are part of that amount of people that don't have one. So now, because of this first rule, which is paying yourself, you're gonna open an emergency fund. This is the first kind of account you're gonna have for wealth, emergency fund. Now, experts recommend 3 to 6 months. I recommend 12 to 18 months and maybe 24, okay? Emergency fund. This is just to cover unforeseen expenses, like, you know which virus I'm talking about. I don't want to mention. Whatever the situation is, you just have to be prepared and have sufficient money to cover. That's emergency. Emergency alone, just to cover for expenses. How do you know that? If your expenses are $3,000 a month, multiply that by 3, and that gives you at least the first scene of what you need to get to. If you cannot even do that, your baby step number 1 there on emergency fund is saving $1,000, putting $1,000 away. That's going to be your baby step number 1. But if you have reached $1,000, you gotta calculate that emergency fund accordingly to the expenses you have, and of course, save that amount over time. Number 2 account, here it is, flashing for the second time. Number 2 account to take you to the wealth position is short-term savings account. Well, short-term savings accounts are money that you put away in case of a job loss. It's not the same as an emergency. This is money that you put away in case you lose your job. So it takes you about 3 months, sometimes 6 right now, to actually get a job back in place at the same level. So you have to make sure that if your income is $1,000 a month, that you have $6,000 put away. That if your income is $5,000 a month, that you have $30,000 put away in a case of a job lost. Plan purchases. What do you mean? That's a short-term saving. A short-term saving is, I'm planning to buy a house. So I'm going to gather information with an expert, what it takes for me to buy that house. I'm going to open an account with that focus, with that goal, and I'm going to start saving on a monthly basis towards that. It could be to purchase a car. That's a short-term saving as well. Most people just go purchase a car, financing it all, instead of using the rule of saving cash and then going to purchase something that you can purchase at the very first place. And the number 3 account. So I promised you 3 accounts, right? I gave you the number 1, emergency fund, gave you the number 2 is short-term savings accounts. And the number 3 is going to be your wealth building account. These wealth building accounts are what I have been mentioning since the very beginning. Retirement, college plans, long-range savings, things that you really need to save for a long period of time, more than 10 years, in order to attain what you want, okay? So it's sort of like short-terms, mid-terms, and long-term goals, what you have to have in mind when you have accounts. But in order for you to build riches and wealth, you have to have these 3 kinds of accounts going. You gotta start up by the first one you can, meaning the emergency fund. Oh, but Angela, it's more important to save for retirement. Well, if you don't have an emergency fund, it's gonna be difficult to save for retirement. So in that order, emergency, short-term, and then finally your wealth building account. Those are the 3 most important kinds of accounts that build your wealth. And that was the step number 1. That was just the step number 1. I'm going to give you step 2 and 3 just to finalize today, because I want to honor the time, and I was the one that started a little late because of technical difficulties. So the step number 2 that you have to consider besides paying yourself first, step number 2 is pay off your debt. And I have a video here on my IGTV and on my YouTube channel that you can reach out to that talks about debt. And we're going to bring more information about that. But I'm going to give you 10 easy ways in which, and today is not talking about debt, but I got to bring it on because it's important. 10 easy ways in which you can pay off your debt. Number 1, you can create a budget. I'm not the best creating a budget. Okay, so we'll talk about that in another video because it's extremely important. It's not difficult. And you do need to have the right steps to actually get to that. Pay off the most expensive debt first. Pay more than the minimum balance because, as I mentioned on my other video, if you just make your minimum, you're not getting anywhere. You're in the rat race and you're kind of like the hamster. You've seen a hamster, right? Exactly, pedaling. Take advantage of a balance transfer. You could, and I did mention this on my video. It could be a mistake, so you have to be very careful with what you're doing if you transfer a balance. You gotta be very, very objective and get to paying off the balance because you're doing that transfers of money that you owe and taking advantage of a 0% interest. You also have to halt your credit card spending. You can't be just adding more spending to cutting off the expenses. It's like it doesn't work. So you have to come to a decision that you and debt are enemies. You don't like debt, and that you can survive, live, and actually become wealthy by not having the debt that actually kills your future. Put work bonuses towards debt. So with this, I also tell you that you can actually get extra income by doing extra jobs, odd jobs. Nowadays from home, you can work and do many different things via internet. So if you are lacking of income, go find yourself another way to make income. If you're looking for a way to make income here in the United States, I'm always open for a line in which I offer you how to make some extra income for you. If you're interested, just reach out to me. Delete credit card information from online stores. Listen, it's just simple. The less you have, the less you worry about. Sell unwanted gifts, household items, and anything that you're accumulating, let go. Let go, and it's going to be very, very good. It feels great, and it actually makes you money in that exchange. And the step number 3, because I'm going to recap here at the end, the step number 3 that's important is to protect your income anywhere you are right now. If you don't have an umbrella of protection, and that is pure term life insurance, you're going to have to get that. It is the way in which you solidify any kind of plan you have towards becoming wealthy. If you think that people with money have no insurance, you're thinking wrong. Because the first thing they did was to make sure that themselves and their family and whatever they accumulated was protected. So make sure that you take care of this step 2. So just recapping, 3 main accounts for you to become wealthy. 3 major accounts for you to be rich and prepare for true financial independence. Number 1, you have to have an emergency fund. Number 2, you have to open accounts that bring you kind of like midterm focus, like buying your house, like buying your car, those kinds of things. Is short-term, not short-term goal for midterm goals. And number 3 is wealth building accounts, and that is save for the future, retirement, college plans, things like that, things that accounts with objectives that are longer than 10 years. So I am super, super happy that you guys are here with me all this time, learning, taking note. And I just gotta remind you that all this material stays not just here in my IGTV, that you can go and check again and just make notes. Also, if you want more information, you can send me a DM. If you have questions, if you want a tailored plan for yourself, let me help you with that. If you require more information in other areas, I might be able to help you as well. And the intention of these 3 accounts that make you rich is to bring light, that you cannot just live the life bringing income. You have to also keep the income. Pay yourself first and do it right. My name is Angela Barrios. As you know me, thank you for being with me. With this, I'm in closing. You can visit and reach out to all my material on YouTube channel, here on IGTV and Facebook. Reach out to me if necessary. I'll be more than glad to help you. So thank you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful night.